Since his 1996 debut at the Met as Rodolfo in La Bohème, Parisian tenor Roberto Alagna has been one of the brightest lights in the Met galaxy. In roles as diverse as Nemorino, Romeo, Werther, Don Carlos, Cyrano de Bergerac, and both leads in the double bill of Cavalleria Rusticana and Pagliacci, Alagna brings an undeniable intensity to all of his performances. This season, he returns to the role of the soldier Don José, driven mad with passion for the gypsy Carmen, a role he first sang here in 2000 and in which he starred in the 2009 premiere of our current production by RIchard Eyre. And we're always so delighted to have Roberto back at the Met. Hi, Roberto.
Thank you very much.
Can you believe you've been singing this role on our stage for over 18 years?
Yes, it's incredible.
It's amazing.
I am the first surprise, because I remember a lot of people telling me, you don't have to sing José, it's too heavy, it's too dangerous, and even Georges Thiel, when the great French tenor, when people ask him what were the most difficult character for you to sing on stage vocally, and he said two roles. It was Canio in Pagliacci and Don José. For this reason, I said, thanks God, I was able to sing until now this Don José. I think it's amazing,
Do you agree with him about Canio and Don José
yes,
being very
they are
dramatic?
dangerous part. Why? For example, Pagliacci, you can break your voice just at the first entrance, and José is the same. Not at the first entrance because it's well done, very soft and everything for the first duet, but in the mountain and at the last act, it's very dangerous because it becomes more violent. And when you have this violence and sometimes you can't control the technique of the voice, you go in and it is very dangerous all the time. It is the same for Tosca when you have the torture.
Right.
Backstage, it can be dangerous, and you have to control that. You have to control your sentiment, but it's difficult because when you are temperamental like me, at the last act you want to give, and even in the mountain, you have those very, very, very difficult phrases, and you can sometimes push your voice a little bit too much. You have to control that.
Right. After all this time of singing this role, how does the music in this opera still engage you, keep your attention?
This is the geniality of Bizet. When you compose such a wonderful opera, all the time you open the score and you're surprised because, I never saw that. You discover every night something new. And it's the same on stage. All the time. You never know 100% this opera. I don't know why. Because all the time it's different and because it's so real, it's so well done, so the sentiments are so pure and so real that because of your experience of life, every night you discover something new. And also it depends of the conductor you have, it depends of your partner, it depends of the Carmen you have, the Micaëla, the Escamillo. All the characters bring you something every night new. And you have to create with them. It's a real game between us.
Nice.
With the orchestra and the choir and everybody.
Well, we spoke with Clementine Margaine, your Carmen, right now. Have you done this role with her before?
Yes, 3 times.
Oh, really?
We sang the first time in Berlin together and in Paris also.
She made the point to us that her character changes depending on her Don José of the evening. And as you mentioned, that's true from your point of view as well. So what is the essence of Don José that maybe can change according to
José in reality is the most important character. Everybody is important in Carmen, sure, Carmen, everybody. But I think the real evolution is in José, in this opera, in the book also of Mérimée, because everything is around him in reality. Carmen tried to attract him. After that, she tried to escape him because she's afraid of the superstitions and she's afraid of death, and she knows, because she read that in the card and in a lot of signs, that it will kill her. She's afraid about that. And José has a wonderful evolution during the opera. Nice guy at the beginning, not so nice because he killed somebody before to come to the army, and also he received the forgiveness of his mother in the letter Micaëla bring and everything. It means he's not a simple character. He's a very strange character and with difficulties. He has a past. And also during the when he's in Sevilla, everybody is looking at him because he's a strange guy. He's a very dangerous guy. He's like a bomb.
Yeah.
Like a bomb. and also is different from the others, very different, and it's a little bit apart. He's never friend with somebody.
Kind of an outsider.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Wow.
But because also of the education he received in the north of Spain, Pays Basque, Sevilla for him is like Siberia for a Russian guy. They sent him far away from his country.
I never thought of it that way before,
it
but
was
yeah,
like
absolutely.
this. It was a punishment for him because he killed somebody. You have to choose between jail or army. And army, yes, not in your country, very, very far from, it's like Siberia.
The other end of the country. Yeah,
they put him away from his country, from his family and everything. And you have to feel that in Don José at the beginning is stranger.
So beyond the vocal part that's different and dramatic and you have to be careful about, you've had, in all the years of playing Don José, you have a lot more life experience now than you did when you started this. So how does that change your interpretation of this guy too, or what you think of him?
You start to understand more the human condition. Life is like this. You never understand why people do something in that moment, And you start to understand that for love, you can also die, you can kill for love, but you must be in that situation, You start to be more tolerant with the maturity, because if you start to think, today I am grandfather, my daughter, she's 27, maybe the age of Don José. And you start to think, if Don José was my son, and you start to have compassion for this guy, you start to understand the fragility of human being, And maybe today, because of that, my José, it's maybe more sincere, because for me, when I was young, when I was 30 years old, singing Don José, for me was just a stupid guy, crazy guy, like a beast, like this, acting like a stupid guy, killing somebody. And you said all the time, why you do that? But when you understand and you start to read very well the score and also the words José is telling, you start to understand he wants to save her soul and to save himself. It became something very religious. In fact, it's like Nathanael with Thais. He was
like
far away,
uh-huh.
thinking, maybe doing meditations. Maybe he started to think about God, and he received a mission to save Carmen, because for him, like Thais, she was possessed by the devil, and he wants to save her, And for this reason, I remember I spoke with RIchard Eyre about that, and we create this character at the end, with the
Where's a little crucifix, yeah.
Crucifix, and this, trying to save her, because it's telling, laisse-moi te sauver et me sauver avec toi, pour la dernière fois, démon, veux-tu me suivre? It's for that, and at the end, he killed her because it's the only way to save her and him in that moment. And here also we have a beautiful symbolic gesture when he put against the ring on Carmen, like an union for eternity. Now you are saved, I am saved, I will die too, and we'll be together for eternity, because in fact we love each other.
So he's much more complicated than we think he is.
Yes. It's not so simple.
Yeah.
It's not so simple.
Yeah.
And also with Carmen, because all the time, we think Carmen never loved José. It's not true. For me, she loves him until the end, and she kept the ring till the end. This is very important, this sign,
That's true. When she comes on in the last act with Escamillo, she still has his ring on.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's just afraid to die. And because she read that on the card and in all the signs, the superstitious signs, she wants to avoid this situation, and just for that. But in reality, she loves José till the end.
Well, Don José is actually torn between two loves, Carmen and the more virtuous Micaëla. That's an interesting dynamic always, but this season it's kind of special because your wife, Aleksandra Kurzak, is singing the role of Micaëla.
Yes, it's true.
So how was that to have her on stage there?
It's wonderful, wonderful, and I think the audience can feel that, because I saw yesterday we had the first night, and you can feel that in the audience. Something is real there in that moment, But in fact, José is in love also with Micaëla because Micaëla was a young girl adopted by the mother of José. She became a family, and he promised to marry her. Because she's a right girl for him. She's a good girl, and this very Catholic family with this education. Okay, and José at the beginning is in love with her, and he loves her. I think he loves her also in the mountain. But the problem is because he's attracted by this Carmen because she's different. She's sensual. She's a woman. She's very feminine, and she's not afraid to show her sentiment, and in his education, you never show your sentiment. For this, it's very difficult for him to say to Carmen, I love you. And when he said that during the aria, is for him the most ashamed attitude he can have, because a real man or even a real woman never said that. You never have to say it with your words. This you can show.
Say it out loud.
Yes, you can show with gesture, with attitude, with a lot of things, but not said. Maybe even his mom never said to him, "José, I love you." He never heard that from his father or from nobody. This is something you have to think about. That they are Spanish in that epoch, very, 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 very macho and with this strict education,
Yeah, yeah. I want to ask you about repertoire in general that you sing. Because you maintain certain roles in your repertoire over the years, such as this one, but you're also famous for exploring less familiar works like we've heard the Cyrano a couple of years ago was so
Cyrano,
beautiful.
Sure.
So do you have any other adventurous repertoire you're got coming up here in the near future?
I sang a lot of repertoire, even unknown repertoire like le Fiesque or Le Jongleur de Notre-Dame or Le Roi Artus, this kind of repertoire, Le Cid, this. But I'm very, very happy because I sang maybe more than I expect, in my career. Because for me, everything was so difficult. And it was something strange. Because I remember every time when I start to sing something, for people, so not for my fans, because they were all the time supporting me, but for critics, for a lot of, purists, they said all the time, oh, this is not for him. Nothing was for me. Even Nemorino, it was not for me, even La Bohème. All the time, nothing was for me. And I said, okay, it's true. Maybe nothing is for me. And because nothing is for me, I will sing everything. I start when I was 20 years old, and now it's more than 35 years
and nothing's for
in opera. But it's true. In fact, it was true because maybe I was too shy, and this was true. Everything was difficult for me. I remember when they said, oh, this must be very easy for you. And it was not easy. Even to sing in Nemorino was not easy. Even to sing Traviata was not easy. And last month, I sang again Traviata in Paris with Aleksandra. After maybe 25 years, I returned to Alfredo.
I remember you mentioned that when you were here last fall.
And
you were going to fly.
with great pleasure.
And
it was fantastic. It was fantastic to return in this role, in this character, because for me it means a lot, because it was my first life, with my first wife. Alfredo for me was that period. And after my first wife died, I never wanted to return in this character. And now to return with Aleksandra, also with my daughter in the audience, my first daughter, Ornella, now she's 27. It was very, very, very moving for me to return in that. I think I am very lucky, in fact. I am very lucky because nothing was with me. For me, I sang quite everything. Everything was difficult, but I was able to sing, even with difficulties. But all the time, I put all my heart in. I was all the time very, very sincere in what I sang, even in Radames, even in Hotel, even in Cannes, in Adrienne, Le Couvreur. I sang a lot in André Chénier and everything. And I'm still here. I still have the flame inside, this fire inside. This is the most important, and the passion,
Well, we're pretty lucky, too. And you are such a wonderful, spontaneous performer on stage. We
Thank you.
can't wait to hear you and Clémentine together and to see it in the HD that's coming out.
With great pleasure.